Hi, this is David with EV World News. We talk about electric vehicles, green energy, and the stock markets. And it's Friday, and I'm joined by Adib Kaldi from Simple Picks. We'll talk about stocks today. How is it going, Adib? Can you hear me okay?
Good. How are you, David?
Okay, good. I'm doing good.
Yes, I can. I'm having a little bit of a bad connection myself, so I apologize. The weather's really bad outside.
Oh, well, it's always interesting. The weather's always bad somewhere, right?
Glad to hear.
I'm wondering if you're getting me
Good.
with a delay.
Okay. I just fixed the connection. Yeah, just a little bit. I just fixed the connection. It should work here in a second.
All right. Yeah, sometimes it seems like you're getting it on a delay.
Let me just close all this other stuff on my network.
You're good. You're good.
Good. Are we good now?
Yeah. Yep. So
Awesome.
let's go ahead and let's start out. I've got a few stocks, and obviously we cover a lot of the same ones, but the number of stocks we're covering from week to week, especially if we have a little more time, keeps growing a bit. So first of all, we're going to start out. We're going to go right down the list. Let's start out with Tesla. See where we're at.
All right. Let me just get my systems in order here. This internet connection is something else. Right.
Sitting at $176 today. It's certainly having its ups and downs.
Well, we did miss last week. So last week we were not on the Friday show. So definitely, where I had seen it or predicted that it would be was below $200, if you recall. And I said that if we were to, if I was to look to longing Tesla, I would do it around the 165 mark ish, give or take, around there. So, most certainly, you can see that, we are trending towards this direction. Give me just a second here. I am just setting up my new trading view so that we can show you the magic from scratch.
Well, the stock's definitely down a little bit. Seeing different kinds of reasons why that may be.
The markets are still open. Yeah. Yeah. Give me just a second here.
Maybe they went down because Rivian announced its new vehicle.
Okay. I think I am better here. TSLA. Let me pull up my share screen. All right. You able to see my chart?
Oh, yeah.
Excellent.
Got to make it bigger on my screen, though.
Tesla. You got to make it bigger?
Okay.
Excellent. So, Tesla, essentially, we started covering Tesla sometime around November. We had highlighted the original, kind of buy alert on Tesla back in November. We suspected that it'll go anywhere up to 250 to 260. It did do that. It actually went all the way to 262. I think it might have been high at 265. And, on your show, we also announced that now it's time to take profits and get out. And, we were looking at the $200 puts as a great spot. And that happened. So we saw the $200 occur as well. And then we had a fallout, a breakout, and I believe that was sometime around earnings call. That was on the 18th of October, around right here. And or yeah, just no, so yeah, that was sorry. The January report is what saw this little bit of a gap down in the stock price, and we see that it's really starting to become quite tight in this zone here. The reason being is that Tesla has a lot of support around the $200 mark as well as the $170 mark. And when we look at the weekly chart, we see that Tesla is kind of just retesting the zone here of the 170s, which really was that low that was hit off of the January report. The January report really plummeted the stock down. So, where do we see any kind of recovery? It would probably be around this area here. So it's going to start to get really tight. As you notice, the volume is increasing here on the sell side. So that tells me that exhaustion is also occurring. We've had a major red candle here of exhaustion, a little bit of buys coming back up to prop it up, and another huge candle of exhaustion here again. So where do we see Tesla going from here? I previously highlighted on your show last week, or sorry, the week before this, when it was at 200, I believe, or it was at 190. I said that it'll linger around this area. It might go up to 200 zone, but it'll probably find itself back down to the 160s or 170s, and that's really where we're looking to enter ourselves. So I am a buyer in this zone. So if I do see Tesla slip up down to maybe 150 or 165, we're going to start nibbling here. So
Okay.
Where we weren't so cautiously optimistic before, I will say on your show here publicly, this is a great buy-in area. Probably buy Tesla anywhere at 155 to 165, and we will stick by this prediction and see where it goes.
We'll probably cover super micro. It's about 5 stocks down on the list. After this, we tend to linger on Tesla a little bit, though. So generally,
Tesla's
we go a little further on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So, anything else you're looking for in terms of?
No, I think this is good. It's interesting because one of the things I've always loved about what you do is you're always looking at the charts, and you're never so sure. You're so concerned about the news. I know you always try to avoid earnings, but you're never really that concerned with the news. And what's interesting is when I look at all these news articles, they're always trying to talk about why something went, what went wrong. And Tesla went down today. People, I think they're trying to explain it was because Rivian introduced a new truck, or a new SUV yesterday. And it's like, I don't see that having a big effect on Tesla's market share. I mean, Rivian's tiny compared to Tesla. Anyways, let's go ahead and let's move on to Rivian. So Rivian's kind of interesting because their stock cratered a week or so ago. When they had some bad news, they did some layoffs and it dropped down to $10, and it looked like it would still be pretty solid. Even Bill bought some Rivian at $10.
Yeah, well, I think I told you. That that's probably the bottom. Did I on the last show?
Yeah, no, we talked about that because that was right when it hit it. And yesterday they did we streamed the reveal of the R2 truck or SUV, and it's nice. I think all of their designs really looks like the hard designer from Range Rover, essentially. I mean, they all have that feel to them, just being electric. But we watched the stock went up to $12 yesterday while we were right as soon as the stream ended. It went from about 11.40 to $12. Don't know where it's at today. Haven't looked at it. $12.73. So that's a big jump. So in 24 hours, it's gone from about 11.40 to 12.73.
Yes, it's looking good. Let's go a little bit closer in here. Let me just.
It was funny because after Bill watched your episode 2 weeks ago, he bought some shares.
I'm happy. You got the dollar cost average down, right?
Right.
Yes, that's right. Well, I'll tell you something. Rivian is in a peculiar spot here. Pretty peculiar spot, I could say. Right. There's some action here. I'm going to actually delete this line, and I'm going to draw this line. And as you can see here, this is why I'm seeing a bottom, because this area capitulated. As you can see on earnings, everybody got out, everybody lost hope, and that's usually when you see bottoms happen.
Right.
Right? So because this stock dropped 50, 60% in a matter of,
The retail buyers all got out.
a month, right? This monthly
Mm-hmm.
candle was like 35%. This one was 26%. It's like, geez, almost 60% decline, right? So yeah, definitely they flushed out a lot of people. This is how my reading look like right now. As you can see, we have a little bit of an engulfing here on this big buy. A lot of volume came in here to support the stock. Clearly, they had some news as well, as you mentioned.
Right.
So this is the catalysts that we see here that came in to save it. And we're trading in a very, very interesting spot right now. Honestly, I'm going to tell you, $10. I'm going to stick by my word. I said it last week. I said like $10, $10.50. Sorry, 2 weeks ago. This is definitely the bottom, in my opinion, just for the very short term here. Okay, this is a good spot to potentially start nibbling. And as you see, David, like a lot of these things translate to what's going on with Tesla. Like you see how Tesla's cooling down, getting into the area to be purchased. Well, this is the same thing right now. Okay, so I love this zone. Okay, and if I was to buy Rivian, I would look for a short-term play, and I would probably consider the $15 calls, probably by late April, May. That's a pretty good bet, in my opinion. If you are bullish on Rivian,
Well, I like, so they showed the R2 and then they announced an even smaller R3, and which I thought was quite interesting because if you've seen the R1, it's basically a little bit bigger than a Range Rover Land Rover, and it's a little bit cheaper, but not by much. I mean, like the Land Rover's like 110,000 versus say 90,000 for that model of the R1S that has the 800 horsepower. But so now they're introducing a 50-60,000. The R2 is going to be a $50,000-$60,000 range SUV, and it's nice looking. It looks very nice, but once again, it looks just like a Range Rover Evoque. Okay, it's not designed to be a knockoff. When I look at it, I've seen some other people with some other theories about where that's coming from, but it's a good look. It's a good look, and I think it'll do well for them as long as they can. They're one of these companies that the whole EV industry, other than Tesla.
I like this. Honestly, I really like this candle here. This today was a great buy to solidify my thesis. To be very honest with you. Because had I gone on your show last week, I would have said, look, David, the bottom held out, but I don't know yet. We're going to have to wait and see. But I didn't get on your last show. This one here solidified it because clearly there's continuation. Now all I need to see is just a close today above $12.25. It's obviously going to happen. There's 13 minutes left in the market. So it's doing everything I needed it to do. It's up 12% for the week. That's excellent. And I'm going to consider Rivian for some calls. I mean, like I said, we put our money where our mouth is. I wouldn't say anything if I didn't think it would happen. So.
No, I understand. Let's go ahead and and you can always post something in the Discord, but not that helps our readers our listeners. But anyways, let's go ahead and let's move on to Lucid. And I suspect it's going to look about the same.
Yeah,
It's really interesting how Rivian,
it's
Lucid all seem to track Tesla. But it does also, when you're looking at Tesla, it makes it, when you see Rivian bouncing, it makes you feel that Tesla's going to bounce too.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's just,
Like
but you
it's a
need
day
to know
behind.
but you need to know to what extent and to what degree. That's usually the big, like, the know-how, because sometimes it's sympathy plays and sometimes it's like direct correlation. So that's usually uh, where, oopsies, this. We're going to see which one sticks out the most. Let's look at the bottom point, which is here. Probably two around here. And I want to make me another one.
I've seen some people thinking that when Rivian fell so much, they were hoping that Apple had some news earlier this week that they decided to cancel their EV division, and they've been investing $1 billion a year in it. And they've got like 1,000 engineers or something for it. But the thought was Apple should step up with Rivian at a bargain. They should buy Rivian. And Amazon owns 1/6 of Rivian already. And you think about that as far as if Apple and Rivian, combined in some way, it'd be a really impressive thing, because you have all these Apple adopters that would then be more hardcore in the Rivian camp. Which
Absolutely.
technically that's a lot of who I think the Tesla people are. Your Tesla owners tend to be people who are the earliest adopters of new technology.
I mean, this is getting really tight here, David. I'm gonna have to see a move out of Lucid very soon here. This is the tightest channel we're gonna probably see here. So as you can see, it is trading in obviously a declining fashion. Okay.
Yes.
Nobody's denying that Lucid has lost tremendous shareholder value, since December of 2021, at a height of $55 versus today at $3.10. So again, guys, a lot of the times when we give speculation on these stocks, you have to realize that there's been a lot of like different life cycles on these stocks, and you have to not just always consider trading it, but consider, maybe holding a long-term position, knowing that there's so many bags here for you to get out. Because when there's so many buyers back in these areas here, that means that liquidity usually will not get tapped into until it comes back to that price. Okay, so look, you can see here on the chart, if you can maybe have a little bit of a look, I'm going to actually maybe magnify it just for easy sake. But you can see, that there's so much volume here. There's so much volume here. There's so much volume here. And there's nothing. Look, as soon as there's a little bit of capitulation happen over here, there's nothing. All this drop has been nothing. No volume. Yeah, it happened over a 2-year period. But look, that volume is not starting to spike again until one time it did in the summer to kind of probably bottom out the stock, but it failed. And it's doing it again here to try to bottom out the stock. Okay? They're only going to try to bottom out the stock once or twice before it really bottoms, guys. Okay? So that's what I'm trying to get to here. I like Lucid.
So you're just saying just hold out and wait.
Really tight. This is a stock that you don't want to flip. This is a stock that you probably want to just buy and invest in my opinion. So if I was to take a position in Lucid, I would just buy anywhere between $1.50 to $3 and just hold. Just hold it.
Oh, I lost you there, Adib. That could be me though.
There's a high. Hello?
Yeah, I'm still here. Here. Yeah, I think you. One of us was having technical difficulties there.
Yeah, sorry. So So I mean, definitely, Lucid is a long term hold in my opinion type of stock. And if I was to buy Lucid, consideration, I would buy anywhere between $2.50 to $3.10. So today, and my outlook is $5 plus by, I'm going to say, the May report, which is going to be reported on May 2nd of 2024 and is going to be for the year ended or the March ending period, which is the Q1 there.
Nice.
In my opinion, I think EVs are going to make a run for it. They're going to get rejected somewheres in these zones. I can't quite predict exactly where. And then they're going to kind of come back down to earth, but it'll result in things like Rivian 15, 16, Lucid 4, 5, Tesla 220 to 240. This is what I kind of see happening in the summertime.
Okay, good deal. Let's move over. We're going to do some AI stocks for a bit. Let's go ahead and let's do just AI.
I think we predicted on your show.
Yeah, let's just do AI. We'll do C3 AI to start with, which is just AI.
Well, on your show 2 weeks ago, you asked me what I thought, and we said that we would buy it at $26, if you recall. And I mean, of course, everybody can go back and read our show. That was on the 26th of February that I did your show, or sorry, I would have done your show on the 23rd of February. So we started covering the stock right here, and look, not a single piece of drawdown since we looked at it. But let us analyze further. So let me get up to the weekly chart and show you what I'm looking at when I initially saw this.
Well, we spiked up at one point.
Yeah, I went up to $38 from $26. That's $12 a share gain since we spoke. I don't know what the number is on that. Let's do the calc. 38 minus 26 divided by 26. That's a 46% rise, guys, in 2 weeks since we mentioned it here on the EV World Show. So, pays to tune in. Anyhow, this is what we were looking at. So, what I see is essentially anytime that I see large spikes, I like to just consider them kind of like a starting point and a point of return. So there's a lot of, a big sell-off right here. And that kind of shows me that it was the stock moved too quick to the upside. And a lot of people tried to buy it too quick. And somebody came and smacked it down. That's a great sign, in my opinion, because why? It was followed by more buying bullish, volume here the next week, and then it died down. So when it died down, what did we see? We saw a lot of consolidation just around the starting point here of where that kickoff started. So when I got on your show, we were right here. I said, well, since we're holding here in upper wick and lower wick fashion in this trading, in this box here, we're able to, then start to realize that, okay, if this zone is going to hold, then maybe there's some more upside. So when we draw it out, we put a line here, which is the start of that uptrend. Put a line at the top of where some major resistance came in. And we essentially draft out the bottom here for probably something like this, but I'm just going to leave it as an open zone of trading. And if it does drop there, it'll probably trade in between this uptrend here because this has been solidified in my opinion. So based on price action theory and going in a little bit deeper on a day-to-day basis now, we can see that it broke above this channel. See this lower type of channel, it broke above it. This is when we made the call out around right here. It's come up to here now. It's cooling down. Do we see it coming back down below here? No, probably I'm going to say the $30 mark is going to become the new spot. So right here, exactly. where the gap has
All right.
occurred. Where we are at and closing here today, to continue the upside, to continue the upside rise. So what do I see for AI? I wouldn't touch AI right now. Why? Because we gave you a call that went for 47% 2 weeks ago. So let the stock cool down. Would I nibble in this zone here? Absolutely. Anywhere between $26, like I said last week or 2 weeks ago, $26 to $30 is a buy.
Okay.
Support. So anybody who decides to nibble or want to invest into AI, I don't think it's a flip, in my opinion. I don't think you would probably buy calls on this. I wouldn't buy calls on this, but I just want to show that the upside trajectory is getting pretty good right now, and the kind of like the downtrend, which essentially might have started, like, let's just say this is the plague on the stock, and the stock sold off from the beginning point until now. Well, not quite yet, but as you can see, we're approaching to retest that longer declining kind of momentum to see for the upside, where at one point this stock was as high as $100, maybe.
Yeah, but that was in 2021.
Yeah,
It was like,
of
that was
course.
January
But
of
as you can
21.
see, absolutely.
Yeah.
But well, here's what you should notice. No real activity occurred on this stock. This was probably a lot of institutions and a lot of early buying, etc., around COVID until, look, 2023. And guess what happened? That was around the time it bottomed at $10, where a lot of these buyers started to pop in, and you're seeing a lot of this activity. So when I see all this, volume activity increasing like to tremendous amounts, of course, there's now interest in the stock by larger participants in the market. And we can see that since they bought it up, they've started building a pattern of control on this right here. And this pattern of control is now setting a bottom at around $26,
Okay.
where we evidently, again, looked at the stock, predicted that it's going to go, and it did. So, yeah, that's what I think about AI. I'm not overly bullish, but if you were to buy, I would buy it in this $26 to $30 range.
All right. Why don't we go ahead and move on to, we're going to talk about the big dog right now, NVIDIA.
Oh, man, don't tell me. Oh.
Its market cap is too
Well,
big to fit on my screen.
yeah. Well, it rejected. It rejected today. Here we go. We got $100 to the downside wick. So definitely, probably this is it for, man, this is crazy. It didn't even do more volume than August 21, which is insane. But I don't know. I mean, let's draw up NVIDIA a little bit for you. So I will just start from here. And let's.
Sure, that number's so big. Is it 110 million in volume or 110 billion in volume? It must be million. Oh, Dave, you've frozen up. Oh, there you are.
Okay. Another rising point.
It looked like it was going to go to 1,000 and then didn't quite make it. It's got stuck at 972.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I just look a lot of these, $1 trillion market caps. You really just you can't go against it. You just gotta let it run all the way, do its full course, and then you consider nibbling onto the downside. So this is what I'm seeing, David. There's been multiple zones that have been breached here by NVIDIA in the last couple of months, that it's gone to stratosphere type of levels. I'm going to say, I'm going to publicly put my name behind this. This is probably the short-term top for NVIDIA. Okay, if I was will not short NVIDIA, suicide wish. Okay, so I'm not shorting NVIDIA, but if I would short it around here. This is probably the top. I was waiting for this big wick to happen, like forever, because essentially, whenever these wicks occur, it's that's it. That's the most volume, and profit taking is about to happen. And it's not the most yet here, but it's the most I can see.
Adib. Oh, we're having a few little technical difficulties here. He's got a storm going on where he's at in Louisiana.
Now,
there you are.
Yeah, this is the start. Yeah, so the internet's just a little iffy here, guys.
No, not much you can do about that. I used to have AT&T internet, and they claimed it wasn't possible, but my internet used to go out when it rained. And and they said that wasn't possible. I go, it seems like whenever the lines get wet, I lose my internet connection. Well, anyways, that happens. That happens.
Yes. So
anyways,
yeah, no recommendation for no opinion. I have no opinion on NVIDIA. I just say that this is probably the short-term top. I could be wrong, and I'll eat my words. But I'm not going to cover it. It's too big for me to cover.
No biggie. Our next one is, somebody had asked about it, is Supermicro, SMCI.
Okay.
Much smaller market cap, but this one has really been rocketing. It's gone up 4 or 5 times since last year.
Oh, wow. What's the market cap on this? For 63 billion.
It's a lot smaller than 2 trillion.
Man, this is a beast. I can't even. I mean, where do you want me to get in this? How do I get in this? Okay.
I mean, it just keeps going up and up.
Yeah. Let's just assume this is like this. Let's assume, I don't know. That's the bottom line there. Let's just say. Yeah, I mean, this is very difficult. I gotta get into probably short term.
It just doesn't seem like it's going to stop, does it? You know, Musk was saying the other day that the usage of AI in computing is causing the amount of computer resources to be used has gone up 10x in the last 6 months. And he says it's going to do it again in the next 6 months. And that's why, you know, NVIDIA and Supermicro are rocketing. I just don't know if they can stop. I mean, but Supermicro has an 89, its PE ratio is 89.
Man, this is a hard one to read.
Motley Fool's talking about it going to 1350. You know, Motley Fool thinks it can go up another 20%.
Anytime I hear the Motley Fool, I go against them. Whatever they say, I go against them. Those guys are. I'm not a fan.
No, I know.
I'm not a fan.
They have another article that says talks about can it go to 2,000.
These guys are paid advertisers. I swear. I've looked at
some
stuff and no hate to the Motley Fool. Okay, I got nothing against you guys. I just don't listen to them. You know, they give you a lot of like very like contrarian type of views, and it's too late sometimes, and they're feeding their pockets other times. Yeah.
I've known you long enough though that you do fundamental analysis and you don't trade the news.
Yeah, I gotta check
And
the news.
so that's just a very
I mean,
different.
where do I see this going, David? Man, this stock is in an upwards trajectory. I don't know. I wouldn't long it, but I wouldn't short it. But I just wouldn't touch it. This is too late for anybody to try to speculate on. I mean, like when I don't have a technical stance, I usually dig into what the company does. I start learning about the company. I do my due diligence on it. I read and I get a better picture so that I can start drawing my graphs better around the company. It's going all about. I don't have my moving averages on this chart, just a fresh chart, but it is moving. It is actually trading right now above all the moving averages. Um, so So as you can see, it is holding above its moving averages. When that happens, technically any stock reader.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and
Yeah,
move
it
on
hasn't
because
caught up to the quick rise. So yeah, where do I what do I say about this stock? I wouldn't short it, nor would I long it. If you're in, stay in. If you're not in, good luck.
no, I get it. I get it. All right. Let's go on to our next stock. We're gonna do something a little more fun. We're gonna do GTEC because
Oh,
I always have to cover GTEC ever since their CEO came on the show and they experienced the EV world news effect of being on our podcast. Uh-oh. Well, I guess that honeymoon is over with.
oh no,
They were at 220 when they came on the show.
GTEC.
$2.20. They went, what'd they go to? Like 370?
370. Yes.
366. Yes, now they've fallen back to 269.
Oh
And
no.
we talk
GTEC,
about this
what
all the
happened?
time. You know, the whole EV
Yeah.
market tends to be fragile, but these guys make electric tractors or electric heavy equipment. And
Okay.
they're sitting on cash. They are profitable and
Mhm.
they are trading at a 20 times PE ratio. But what's interesting is they were making a profit without subsidies. And now this year they get
Mhm.
subsidies from some of the states are providing subsidies on some of their sales. And I think it's, one that's definitely rock solid.
I
But
totally agree
it,
with you. I'm surprised they
tractors
sold
apparently
off.
aren't sexy enough to make the stock market go up.
Well, give me a second here, but they are looking pretty lucrative as a buy here. I will tell you. Uh, let's see this big wick here. This big wick here. Yeah. You know what, David? This is probably the time to buy them.
With this dip,
Yeah, this is, in my opinion, if all else proves right, GTEC should probably get a buy anytime between here to $2.25.
okay.
So if I was to go down into the daily level for you, right now it's actually broken out of its uptrend. Okay, so what needs to happen is it needs to get back in this uptrend right here. Now, if it doesn't, it'll probably be caught back down somewhere around right here, where this all began.
Well, I like this one.
Right there.
Like I said, I like the CEO.
So
I like the
I
company's
am a buyer.
fundamentals.
Yeah. So I would honestly I would be a buyer. Consider buy anywhere at $2.25 to $2.75. Or what is it
Okay.
today? $2.80.
269.
Yeah. So this is what I would do for GTEC. I'm a little disappointed in them being. I mean, they're up 7% today, but yesterday they were down 11%. So I am disappointed in yesterday's dump, and I believe it may have been attributed to nothing here. And when's their earnings? March 27th is their earnings. It could be with relation to earnings. Now, historically, David, this company, I believe, has always done good on earnings. Let's check. Yeah. The earnings that they did in August of 2023 gave them a monster bump from $1.67 all the way to $5. Wow. What a monster bump that was. Which one
Well,
was that?
they had been naked short sale down from
That was this
$15
one right here.
down to that $1.50.
Right. And the last news, even though it was a surprise and a miss and negative EPS, it did bump up the stock. Yes, there was a sell-off from the $5 mark, yes, but it bumped it back up at this $2.15 zone. So you reckon, what I reckon is going to happen in this financials, regardless of where the financials goes, is there's going to be a catch me at the bottom here, 225 at the worst case scenario.
So here's part of what probably happened there. So that $5 stuff was probably some of the short sellers getting forced to buy some of the stock at a higher price. Because what happened was this Raymond, the CEO, came in with a couple $1 million of his own money, and he bought it at the bottom and bought back into the company. So instead of taking company funds and buying it, he took personal funds into it. I don't know. I mean, this is public knowledge because as an insider, he had to report that to the SEC and all of that.
Right.
But it's unusual to see somebody. So he wasn't just buying restricted stock. He actually bought out of the float.
Yeah. That's
So
good, man. I mean,
yeah. How many CEOs do we see doing that?
Not many, very little.
No.
I mean, I work, and a lot of times looking at a lot of companies, and one of the main things that I like in looking at companies, in whatever they do, is who pays themselves first and who wants to get out on the back of shareholders first. And unfortunately, in this world, most of every CEO wants to. That's the only reason they take their stock to the market, right? So to see somebody come in and defend their stock is admirable. And my coverage will remain. I don't have any bias or allegiance to anybody or anything. I just like the stock at around $2.25, man, and I would be willing to buy it. So if anybody here is listening,
ever since Raymond did that, nobody's naked short sold that stock again.
I assume it because he bought everything that was up there. Then because what they'd have to do is they have to borrow his shares. Or he probably will not allow his to ever be borrowed, but somebody would have to borrow those shares to short at that level. And typically the broker would have to pay a high fee to borrow maybe those shares from investors like Raymond who are not willing to let go of their shares.
Right.
So that's why you're not getting a naked short sell. That's right.
All right. So I've got two more for us. We're going to cover ISRG. We covered that a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
Intuitive Surgical.
Oh, Intuitive. Okay, yeah. Just a second here. Just pulling up another one.
And when we talked about them on the show a couple of weeks ago, they were around. It hasn't really changed. They were about 389 then. They're about 391 now. 392. They maybe gone up 1% since then.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we covered them, I think, back there. Or no, sorry. A week ago. Let's go back 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Yeah, so we around 278, maybe 270 something in that zone. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, they were at 289. You're right. They closed the week at 289. So really not much movement since. You're right.
No, I haven't seen much there. I just thought we'd cover it because it's an AI stock. And
yeah, I mean, let's take a look real quick here. So I see a top point. This was the top point. This created this like toppy kind of area for probably like a whole year, 2 years. Wow. And let me create a bottom zone here. So let's see the bottom point. And so that's going to actually go through them, kind of like this. And then we're going to get the top point of the bottom side. So the top point is right here. That's going to go up to the top point on this one. So as you can see, it looks amazing. I would not short this, period. I mean, what don't you like about robotics with AI? And for surgery, for medical purposes. For medical purposes. I mean,
Right.
I think it's the future, in my opinion. You know, I had a friend that actually introduced me to intuitive surgical probably 3 years ago. He used to work for them as an engineer. And he said, man, this is the future. You know, that's all he had to say. At the time, I think they were about $150. I didn't buy it. And I regret why I didn't buy it, because I would have been up nearly 150% return on my investment in 2 years.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, AI is AI, and robotics and medicine is something that's like an advanced field of work. And as you can see, this top was put in back in November 21. You know, the stock declined all the way down to 180, you know, from 366. And here we are back again. You know, tested it again back in July of this year.
Does it still seem like it'd be something good to get into and
Still got
just to
killed
hold?
back down. You know, the shit. They don't want to make. They don't. The stakeholders all know what's going on. Yeah. So, you know, it's going to go through multiple cycles, but here we are, breached that zone again. I don't think it's going to come back down. Okay. It's tested this zone 1, 2, 3, and 4 times before it broke out. That 350 mark is, I believe, now probably the line in the sand for this company. So, you know, is it a company you flip? No. Is it a company you invest in? Yes. My consideration is just going to be as simple: super support at 350. Call it line in the sand. So if anybody's considering buying this, it would probably be a great buy to just, you know, enter and, in my opinion, dollar cost average your way in. Just keep buying, you know, as you go. This stock is poised for greatness because, again, it is addressing a future utility and function that would support humanity, and that easily garners investors' money. So.
Nice. All right, we got one last stock, and this isn't. We have not covered this one before. It's GOEV. It's Canoe. Now, Canoe has just been shown some sneak peeks of a special ruggedized pickup truck it's making that's electric for the military, but it's just GOEV. I bet this. It's a company out of Oklahoma, and they've been making some vans for.
We looked at this before, right? And I said,
Did we?
I wouldn't.
It must have been a while. It must have been quite a while back.
Okay. I mean, this is the scariest chart I've ever seen in my life. What is this? What is this? I mean, who bought it up here? Who's the sucker? You know, come on.
Oh God, I didn't even realize that.
It went as high as 500. It went as high as $557. Then it went to like $300. Then it went to like $100.
That sounds as bad as Wahid's friend that has that Hong Kong stock that, you know, went up to some ridiculous number. It was worse than the VinFast deal.
Yeah, man. Like, I mean, I just don't. I've never seen the symbol before. Oh, they split. They did a split here. That's why. So they must have even gone lower. I don't know what's going on, David. I wouldn't touch this stock. I'm not even interested. I don't care what they do. It doesn't matter to me. This seems to me that every chance that any person buys it up, it sells down.
Oh, it's splitting today.
I will
it's doing a 1 for 23 reverse today.
Oh,
It's effective
Yeah,
today.
because you probably can't find those shareholders. Yeah, their market cap is 110 million. I mean, I wouldn't touch this. It's too small, and you could probably
Well, they
buy like
announced it
100
2 days
grand's
ago.
worth in the stock and crash it. Yeah, it's nothing crazy. I can't even. I don't even want to put a chart in this because it's a nightmare for me to chart this. I'd have to go into like the 1 hour chart for you and the 2 hour chart and like look at the micro and who's really controlling it. But for as long as I can see here, for as long as the naked eye can see, the stock has
All
just
right.
been a disaster. Like this is a disaster. So I'm sorry. I've never been like very pessimistic. I usually give my opinion like very like lightly and nicely. I just can't do it. This one, there's nothing. There's nothing there.
Oh God, yeah, that's pretty
So
sad, isn't it?
I wouldn't buy this. This is a high risk. This is like a this is like risky. This is a risky stock to buy. Now look, tomorrow they can release some crazy news and make me eat my words. Okay, and it would be something that might be a catalyst to change the world. But just as a technical price action trader, I wouldn't touch this with a metal. I wouldn't touch this. This is a waste of money and an
I
investment, in my opinion. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry to be so harsh.
No worries, no worries. Well, anyways, folks, I apologize for the technical difficulties we had today, but thanks for watching. Please,
Yes.
like and share this if if you really
We'll
enjoyed it,
see
and please
y'all
leave us comments. Let
next
us know
week.
how you felt about it. And these videos I do with the deep tend to age very well. So far we've had
Yes.
good luck with these. I'm going to go ahead and end the stream. Thanks for watching, folks.